Hello everyone, I am Dr. Amanullah and today we shall be discussing acute appendicitis. So acute appendicitis is inflammation of appendix and appendix is normally present in right lower quadrant of the abdomen. Let's suppose this is abdomen and it is divided into four quadrants. So this one is right lower quadrant, right iliac fossa. So appendix is present here in right iliac fossa. Patient will complain of the pain here in right iliac fossa. Pointing sign will be positive in the patients and tenderness, pyrexia, fever will be there. So what is the mnemonic for acute appendicitis? Mnemonic for acute appendicitis is Mentel's. Mentel's M stands for migratory right iliac fossa pain, A for anorexia, N for nausea, T for tenderness in right iliac fossa, R for rebound tenderness, E for elevated temperature, L for leukocytosis, and S for shift to the left. Now, what is shift to the left? What happens? This is abdomen. This is umbilicus. Abdomen is divided into four quadrants. Now this is right lower quadrant. In right lower quadrant, what happens here? Appendix is present, so patient will complain of the pain here in right lower quadrant. But when we touch the patient from left, that pain will be shifted to the right side, so that is known as shifting pain. That shifting pain is present in acute appendicitis, so patient will complain of the shifting pain. So this is the mnemonic for acute appendicitis, that is Mentel's. M stands for migratory right iliac fossa pain, anorexia, nausea, vomiting, tenderness in right iliac fossa, rebound tenderness, elevated temperature, leukocytosis, and shift to the left. So in this way, acute appendicitis patient present. So the score, as you can see in the side, is Alvarado score, which is a kind of grading state for the appendicitis patient. So this is for every complaint, 1 2 1 2, as you can see. So this is indication of the shifting pain. When this is right iliac fossa, when touched on left iliac fossa, patient will complain of the pain, so that is known as shifting pain. So in another sign, clinical sign, which we will observe in patient of volvulus, that will be coffee bean sign in x-ray. Coffee bean sign in x-ray, as you can see here in this picture, this is a particular image like coffee bean, so that is known as coffee bean sign. What happens in volvulus? Sigmoid colon most commonly twisted around its own mesentery, and that blocks the passage of fecal content. So patient develops volvulus, and in X-ray we find this coffee bean sign in volvulus. So this is coffee bean sign, which is present in volvulus. Most commonly organ involved, part of intestine involved in volvulus is sigmoid colon, because it has large, huge mesentery. That's why it can easily rotate around its own mesentery and create volvulus twisting. And the another intersusception is what is intersusception? It is telescoping of proximal bowel into distal bowel. Now as you can see, this is proximal bowel which is telescoped here in distal bowel, and that telescoping creates obstruction, and a patient will complain of pain in the abdomen and retention of fecal contents. So that condition is known as intersusception, and the most common site of intersusception is ileocolic region. In ileocolic region, most commonly intersusception happens. Telescoping a proximal bowel into distal bowel is known as intersusception. So coffee bean sign is present in patient of volvulus, and uh, now when we perform the x-ray, right now x-ray is not present, so I draw this image. As you can see here, this is abdomen and this is diaphragm. Now here this black is free air under diaphragm, free air under diaphragm. So what are the causes of free air under diaphragm? In normal x-ray there is no free air under diaphragm, but there are pathological causes for free air under diaphragm. Pathological causes for free air under diaphragm like enteric fever, typhoid fever, enteric fever, and that enteric fever causes perforation of intestine, that causes free air under diaphragm. Or in peritonitis, in peritonitis patient's x-ray, there will be free air under diaphragm. So that free air under diaphragm will be shown like this in x-ray findings. And another is intestinal obstruction. Intestinal obstruction is failure to pass a stool, is known as intestinal obstruction. There are two types of intestinal obstruction. One is dynamic cause, two causes. One is dynamic cause and another is adynamic cause. In dynamic cause, there is mechanical obstruction. In adynamic cause, there is paralytic causes like paralytic ileus, or there is a degeneration of the nerves of the intestine, and intestine will fail to create peristaltic movements. So that is a dynamic cause. In dynamic cause like choledocholithiasis, patient can present with intestinal obstruction, abdominal distension, absolute constipation, vomiting, and pain in the abdomen. So when we perform the x-ray of the patient for intestinal obstruction, x-ray will show us like this is free air under diaphragm. Loops will be distended like this, and there will be clear demarcation of the air which will be above and the fluid which will be down here. So that is free air under diaphragm which is present in intestinal obstruction. So intestinal obstruction is failure to pass a stool, and patient will complain of constipation, abdominal distension, pain, vomiting, and abdomen will be distended in the patient. So labs, we will perform labs and X-ray abdomen. X-ray abdomen will show multiple air fluid level in intestinal obstruction. And intestinal obstruction X-ray will show volvi inconvenience. So this, I will in next video I will discuss volvi convenience by from the X-ray image. And the another is air under diaphragm, as we discussed air under diaphragm. So we discussed cause like enteric fever, typhoid, peritonitis. Patient will present with a free air under diaphragm. And another cause is post-operative laparoscopic cholecystectomy. In post-operative laparoscopic cholecystectomy, there will be free air under diaphragm, and X-ray, in X-ray that air will be clearly demarcated. So right now I'm going to present clinical scenario. A 40-year-old male patient came in the hospital with on-off pain in upper right quadrant of the abdomen. Okay, let's suppose this is abdomen. It is divided into four quadrant. Upper right quadrant. This is right side of the patient. So patient has pain here in upper right quadrant in the abdomen, and there is itching at exposed part of the skin. No hepatosplenomegaly is there, and jaundice, obstructive type of jaundice is present in the patient. Gallbladder is not palpable. Pulse is 50 beats per minute. What is the diagnosis for the patient? Now clinical scenario shows that patient has right upper quadrant pain, itching in skin, no hepatosplenomegaly, there is jaundice, yellow discoloration of the skull and mucous membrane is there, gallbladder is not palpable, and pulse is 50 beats per minute, means bradycardia. So what are the causes for this patient? Now, as in clinical scenario, no hepatosplenomegaly is there, patient has jaundice, gallbladder is not palpable. So the diagnosis for this patient will be obstructive jaundice, choledocholithiasis. Patient will have choledocholithiasis because gallbladder is not palpable and there is jaundice present, no hepatosplenomegaly. So that will be choledocholithiasis. So for what choledocholithiasis, look at the normal anatomy of the liver. This is liver, and from liver, right hepatic duct and left hepatic duct drains into common hepatic duct, and it combines with cystic duct and form common bile duct. Common bile duct. So when stone is present here in common bile duct, so choledocholithiasis develops, and patient will present with the complaints which were discussed in clinical scenario. So what labs we will perform for the patient of choledocholithiasis? We perform CBC, LFT liver function test. We will see radiological ultrasound of the abdomen. There will be PT, prolonged urine DR should be assessed, and ultrasound abdomen should be done for the patient of choledocholithiasis. Obstructive jaundice, when obstruction of flow of the bile occurs, then obstructive jaundice will develop. So what is the treatment for choledocholithiasis? There will be fluid replacement, antibiotic will be given because obstruction is there, and ERCP will be performed, endoscopic retrograde cholangiopancreatography will be performed, and therapeutic treatment. ERCP is therapeutic as well as conservative. We can uh, give conservative treatment, as well as we can treat the patient with ERCP, with the help of ERCP. Another treatment is lab chole will be performed. Lab chole can be there, and pre-operative laparoscopy can be done in the patient. CBD is the treatment option for choledocholithiasis, or open cholecystectomy can be performed, or open CBD exploration. So these are treatment options for patient having choledocholithiasis. So in this way we can treat the patient of choledocholithiasis, and patient will present of the right upper quadrant pain. There will be no palpable gallbladder, no hepatosplenomegaly, and no palpable gallbladder, and obstructive jaundice will be there. So in this way we perform the labs and treat the patient.